Hello everyone. TikTok is a rapidly growing platform. What began as a site for short dance videos and comedy sketches expanded into a haven for a wide array of content, including commentary. In fact, last year, TikTok officially hit 1 billion users, reaching that goal faster than even Facebook and YouTube. And as a platform continues to grow, you'll naturally see various communities form. So one community we'll take a look at today is the Muslim TikTok community. Here's a video from the user Y4Y46 who has over 500,000 followers, and he's going to show us a dua, or prayer, for when you lose something.
Yesterday, I lost my social security number, and I was looking for it all over and I couldn't find it. And subhanAllah, I said this dua and I found it within seconds. So today, inshallah, I'm going to be teaching you that dua. Allahumma ya jami'an nas liyawmin la rayba fih ajma' alayya dallati.
Wow. You know, that reminds me of this one time I couldn't find my car keys, but then I began petting my cat, and then I found my car keys shortly after. I guess that means petting my cat made it happen. I mean, I know the world should work that way, but you do see the problem with that logic, right? Maybe not, because this argument is used in quite a few Muslim TikToks, like in this one for getting rich.
If you want to become rich and wealthy, recite this powerful dua. Ya Mawlai, iqdi anni dayni wa aghnini min al-faqr.
Or in this one for getting married.
Dua to stop simping and get married. Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khairin faqir. Read this every day after each prayer. Inshallah, you'll get married. Musa alayhi salam did the same and he got married.
This is an example of what's called the post hoc fallacy. It's where you argue that event A happened, then event B happened, therefore event A caused event B. Now, while there are cases where event A did cause event B, you have to demonstrate that one really did cause the other. Which is why when scientists perform studies, they'll usually have multiple test subjects, an experimental group and control group, and they'll account for various factors that could influence the outcome. And the highest quality studies done on prayer have been unable to show that it's actually effective. But as we'll see throughout this video, this kind of flawed reasoning is a recurring problem in this community. Here's a video from Momin Abu Mecca, who also has over 500,000 followers, and his video's titled, Me versus Atheist, Simple Logic.
You sure you don't believe in God? You're positive? I'm sure, bro. I don't. Bro, what would you do that for?
Well, isn't that a peaceful message? If you deny God, we're going to assault you.
Do you feel pain? Yeah, bro, I feel pain. That hurted me, man. Okay, if that's the case, then show me that pain exists. Show me how pain look like. What you mean to show you? I feel the pain. I feel it. It hurts. Okay, then show it to me. You feel it, but show it to me. Well, I can't show it to you, but I feel it. Well, that's my point. The way you feel pain, we feel God, but we can't see God. But we feel a God that exists. It's simple logic, my friend.
Wow. Apparently God feels like getting slapped. Of course, the main problem with this analogy is that just because your feeling may be real, doesn't mean the thing you attribute that feeling to is real. An amputee might feel like pain is coming from a limb, even though that limb is no longer there. A schizophrenic might feel like the CIA is after them, even though there's no reason to believe so. But following this guy's simple logic, your limb is still there, and the CIA really is after you. His argument essentially boils down to, if you feel like it's real, therefore it is real. If you feel like the sun goes around the earth and not the earth around the sun, that means it must be true. I'm joking, of course. I mean, who could possibly believe that?
Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about where does the sun goes when it sets. It travels around, and when it reaches underneath of the throne of Allah, it makes a sajda, which is a prostrate, and will ask Allah to have a permission to rise. And Allah, of course, will permit that permission for the sun. But a time will come where Allah denies the permission of the sun, and it will be set to the sun to go back exactly where it came from, and it will rise from the west instead of the east.
So, at the end of the video, this TikToker shows that he's getting this idea from a verse in the Quran, which does seem to describe a geocentric model. And there are multiple other Quran verses which make the same claim. But how does this guy account for the evidence that the Earth goes around the sun?
A lot of people believe in scientists, which is kind of shirk.
Shirk, for those who don't know, is the Islamic term for idolatry. He expands upon this in the comments, writing, it would be kafar, shirk, to give man credit when he is stealing Allah's work. Maybe Allah should file a copyright claim. But Islam has even more unusual ideas than just the motion of the sun.
Are you allowed to hug your friend of the opposite gender? I already know this is gonna get a lot of people mad. First of all, you're not even allowed to have friends of the opposite gender. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, do not approach zina. And hugging is a form of zina. So whether it's your friend, your cousin...
Wait, not even your cousin? They're your relative. Why would a hug from them be a problem? Well, our TikToker Salim Gad was nice enough to make a follow-up video clarifying.
So apparently a lot of people did not know this, but no, you're not allowed to hug your cousin. Of course, I'm talking about your cousin who has hit puberty and is of the opposite gender. But your cousin is not your mahram, meaning you are allowed to get married to your cousin.
You are allowed to get married to your cousin.
Well, believe it or not, this is actually true. According to chapter 33, verse 50 of the Quran, the daughters of your aunts and uncles are lawful to you.
There's always room for family.
So with the Quranic seal of approval, it may not come as a shock to learn that cousin marriage is quite prevalent in the Islamic world. According to a study published in 2009, many Arab countries display some of the highest rates of consanguineous marriages in the world, and specifically first cousin marriages, which may reach 25 to 30% of all marriages. They go on to write, the risk of birth defects in first cousin marriages may be estimated to be 2 to 2.5 times the general population rate, a rate that has been supported by newer research too. You would think that an all-knowing God would try discouraging a practice that leads to a swath of disabilities, but who are we to judge? Allah has the full picture, so I'm sure making more people disabled is all part of his great plan. But you might be wondering, what if the Muslim in question is gay or lesbian? Would the rule about not hugging the opposite gender apply to them too? Here's a video from the TikToker It's Danzy, who has 1.6 million followers, and he's going to educate us about homosexuality in Islam.
Okay, so let's talk about homosexuality in Islam. This has been a major topic in recent days, so I thought I'd give my take on it. Okay, so straight up, it is haram. Please help me out. This is clearly mentioned in the Quran, and I'm pretty sure we all know the story of Lut alayhi salam.
So, the story of Lut in the Quran is quite similar to the story of Lot in the Old Testament, in which the citizens of Sodom and Gomorrah are destroyed for engaging in homosexual behavior. The story of Lut is also mentioned in the Sunnah, where the Prophet Muhammad is quoted as saying, whoever you find doing the action of the people of Lut, kill the one who does it and the one to whom it is done.
But us saying it's haram and we don't support it does not make us homophobic. We simply just don't accept and agree on your beliefs.
If ordering gay people to be killed isn't homophobia, I don't know what is. I gotta say, I've always found the anti-gay messaging in Islam a little bit ironic. Homosexuality is immoral. Also, here's how you pray. Maybe that's Allah's way of testing you. Here's a video from the user Mr. Really Unbothered, who has nearly 500,000 followers, and the question he's answering is, do you deserve Jahannam? Which, you may have guessed by the fire, is the Islamic term for hell.
On the Day of Judgment, if you fail that day and get the ultimate punishment by going to hell, just know you deserve it. Let me tell you why. Allah is the most merciful.
No, you cannot begin your video by saying people deserve to burn forever with fire on screen, and then follow that up with Allah is the most merciful. Imagine if news came out that a country's government was throwing their people into a pit of fire. We'd call that a human rights violation. We'd call that cruel and unusual punishment. And if that government claimed to be the most merciful, we'd call that propaganda. And yet, the moment you replace the word government with God, people will jump through hoops to justify barbaric behavior. Call me a radical, but I'm not a fan of burning people.
Imagine, quick scenario. Think about the nicest person you know. You've never seen them mad, and they rarely get mad. If that person got upset at you, there's a good reason why.
If I found out the nicest person I knew was burning people, my reaction wouldn't be, they must have had a good reason for that. No, that would be insane. My reaction would be, wow, I was wrong about them. They're horrible. I'd reevaluate my perception of them based on this new information. You know, critical thinking.
Allah's far more merciful than that individual. Far more. So if you upset the most merciful to the point where he wants to throw you in his hellfire, you deserve it.
You ever notice how similar this logic is to that of an abusive partner? What does the abuser tell you? They say you need them, you're nothing without them, they know everything, they can never be wrong, they demand constant affirmation, if they hurt you it's because you deserve it, or they're testing you, they take credit for everything good in your life, they watch your every move, and they threaten you if you want to leave. But even after all that, the abuser will turn around and say, they love you.
But he loves you.
So I'm not surprised when I get comments from ex-Muslims telling me how happy they are to be out of that relationship. Which brings us to this video.
I have a question for you. Why do groups of ex-Muslims even exist? I don't see groups of ex-atheists, ex-Christians, ex-Jews.
Well, unlike Islam, Christianity and Judaism don't tell you to kill people for leaving. To this day, multiple Islamic countries prescribe the death penalty for apostasy. And even among those that don't, there are still severe consequences like being ostracized, getting fired, or, in extreme cases, murder. So because of the systemic oppression that ex-Muslims endure, there's a unique identity that forms around being an ex-Muslim. But you don't want to hear about that, do you? What you want is for ex-Muslims to shut up.
So it does baffle me why there are groups of ex-Muslims talking online about Islam. Just move on with your lives.
Well, when there are problems in the world, people usually want to solve them. So maybe these ex-Muslims feel like homophobia, sexism, unscientific ideas, censorship, violence, etc. are problems worth focusing on. And they want to utilize their free speech to call these problems out. If you're baffled by why they're talking about Islam, you could try listening to them.
I remember saying to my mum that I don't think I believe in God anymore, and her saying you can't tell anybody else because they'll kill you. Like, we're obliged to kill ex-Muslims.
I'll never forget how my mum just cried for ages. My dad couldn't talk much. For the last 10 years I've been this. I'm only disclosing it to you now. And you've loved me for the last 10 years. I'm the same person. And they're like, but no, you're a kafir. The worst of the worst, because, you're not even a Christian, you're not even a Jew, you're not even a Hindu, you have no God. To have no God, you're the worst kind.
I was planning to run away from home and go to university because my parents didn't want me to move out of home. I think I said, I'm not a Muslim anymore. I thought that would mean that they would let me go, but they locked me in the house, they hit me, they burnt my arms. Like my dad, he said that he wished he'd already killed me or that he'd strangled me when I was born.
I lost my daughter, now she's 8 years old. And I didn't see her from last 4 years because court just gave custody to my ex-husband. This is life. And this is Pakistan with your atheism.
I mean, I wish my parents accepted me the way I am, and if they supported me, I mean, that would be enough. If they're angry with me, I would wish that they forgive me, and accept me the way I am. I've done everything, but I wasn't good enough.
I don't think you can ever expect an ex to speak well of you anyway.
Well, maybe they wouldn't have a problem with your religion if your religion didn't have a problem with them. Just a thought. These are only a small sample of what I came across on TikTok. The platform is overflowing with videos of popular figures promoting bigotry, pseudoscience, and illogical ideas, all in the name of their religion. Which is especially concerning when you realize that TikTok is predominantly used by teens and children, even being ranked as their favorite app. And unfortunately, many of these videos go completely unchallenged. But that can change. If you enjoyed this video and want me to expose more from TikTok, please subscribe, ring the bell, and give this video a thumbs up. I'd also recommend checking out my other videos about Islam, which I'll have linked on screen. And last but not least, if you want to help support my videos like these amazing people, please consider joining me over on Patreon. Any amount you can give is greatly appreciated. But until next time, have a great day.